Brandon, I know who Peter Rabbit is.
Very good, because I almost had to boot them.
That was Peter Ritz.
Oh, Peter. We're not booting Peter Ritz. All right. Ted Hughes.
There we go. Did we lose Michael?
Hey, Dan, were you out
You should
golfing
have
with the
some
boys
trash bags
today?
underneath your sink.
No, didn't do that today. Didn't want to get caught in the rain halfway through.
I hear you.
Kevin and I opted not to go today. Probably turned out a good thing. We only got half the 18 in, and then probably we had to park it.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I missed going with you guys. You know, that was fun when we were out there those couple times. That was good.
it was. It's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to get out, and it's also nice to be able to have that time to do it now.
Yep. Yep.
So
I went out last Friday
Get there, my
with
friend.
the Cleveland State group. It was good.
Don, when are
I had
you?
other things going on that day. I couldn't quite make that. I wanted to go to that.
When are you moving to Florida?
Well, I've got another appointment with the realtor. We're going to do another virtual walkthrough tomorrow afternoon on a house that we like, right around the corner from the kids, and make a decision by then. If we don't make a decision by the end of this month, we'll just save the look until after the first of the year when the holidays are over. Got to go get those grandkids set up for swimming down there. Got them started. I just got to finish it off.
There's somebody that looks like Hannah Brandt that's on here, just like her picture over there on the left.
I almost wore the same blazer too, but we all know how I move my hands, and I didn't want to get too hot talking about all the good stuff we're going to talk about tonight.
The
I
same
almost wore the same outfit.
It's all good. Well, we'll see. We got, hi, Todd. Todd's on here. I don't know if he can hear me, but
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Bogdan's on there, a diver. We're doing all this for you, Bogdan.
Thank you, Wally. You're always looking out for us.
Absolutely. You gotta love those divers.
They're key to making things happen. It's not just a fish.
Absolutely.
You need them high divers.
Absolutely.
I've never felt so important.
Never?
We're hoping to
Let's
see
see,
your
right?
coach pop up. Oh, Justin. Speaking of coaches, thank you, Buckeye coach,
Yeah, what's up, Wally
for
Morton?
joining us. That's the Big Ten Coach of the Year in diving.
Hey, Justin.
Hey,
Just saying, Big Ten Coach of the Year, right there.
come on, you're making me blush, Wally.
Aw.
Being very modest. Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
We got Chuck, the esteemed Chuck.
Wally, Hannah, how you
Hi,
doing?
Doug.
around here, and this is perfect.
Justin?
Former teacher at
Hey,
Life
Chuck.
Garage.
And then we have the alumni,
Love our teachers.
most valuable alumni award winner, Mr. Ginther.
Yes.
World News Tonight with David Moore, America's most watched newscast. After their debate
Distinguished
But
Hi,
who-
Tato, it's good to see you.
for COVID, with so much on the line, now
We're starting to pop on here.
Joe Biden, the 2020 town hall
I
event.
think part of it is I think clicking on the link
on ABC.
sometimes doesn't work. I don't know whether it worked or didn't work. Hopefully it's all good.
The link on email worked fine for me.
Okay, good.
Hey, Chuck. Good to see you.
Season premiere.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Very good.
ABC
We're in our 4th week of training finally.
special edition of
Yeah?
A long
How's
7
it
months.
going?
and News 5 at 11.
It's going really good. It's going good. It's
Scott, good.
recruiting is quite a chore when you can't bring anyone on your campus. I'm sure you guys
Yeah.
figured that one out already.
Well, you know, Justin, as we say, the city is our campus.
Yep.
Justin, please pass along my regards to Greg Beals, the baseball coach.
Yes, I will.
Greg and I worked together when he was at Kent State.
All right.
And please pass my regards on to Bill Dorencott. He's the swim coach there. You know him, don't you? He's the swim coach.
I'm familiar with him.
Okay.
I see him. I see him around.
Is he still getting in all his steps a day? At one point, I
Yeah,
was
he's getting them in.
nice.
Yep.
What was his goal? 10,000? No, it was pretty high. 20,000.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
That's something.
when swim coaches start talking numbers, I start getting fuzzy.
Hey, Rich.
Well, Justin, don't worry. I won't talk a lot of numbers then tonight. I don't want you getting fuzzy.
All right, I got you.
We'll give it 2 more minutes and turn over to Al to introduce Bob, and then we'll move into the main reason we're all here tonight, to listen to Coach.
I like scrolling to see who's here, but who's Peter Rabbit? There's no video camera.
Wally says he knows Peter Rabbit pretty well.
Yeah.
I thought I knew him. Peter Rabbit, who are you?
Oh, I see some parents of our current kiddos. I like scrolling through to see who's here. And then I'll have to stop scrolling so I don't get distracted. Ollie, do you have a pool table at home?
Well, it's either that or somebody's buried behind me. I'm not sure.
No, I see the sticks on the wall after COVID. Can I come play pool with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once coronavirus is over.
I love pool. I'm not very good at it, but I do like to play. that can be some of our bonding time, Wally.
Absolutely. Hi, Lori.
Hey, good to be here.
There's Lori Wagner, one of the greatest coaches in Cleveland State University history, if not the greatest.
Oh, Wally, thank you. But yeah.
Dr. Wagner.
Okay, well, why don't we turn it over to Al Pulowski, who's leading us tonight, who will chat with Bob Heller a little bit here, and then we'll turn it over to Coach. But we appreciate everyone being here, and I will continue admitting people throughout the evening. And then after we are completed with the state of the program, a few of the coaches and staff and others will stay on to share stories and reminisce a little more. So appreciate you being here, and I'll turn it over to Al.
Al, unmute your.
There we go. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. I wanted to make sure of that. But again, great to be here. Great to see some of you people that have checked in. Of course, always great to see Wally Morton and Hannah Baranth that I got to know a little bit this past winter when we did some coaches shows. So really talking about swimming and diving and how it's, you know, progressed at Cleveland State. It's always been such a great program here. And we'll get into more of that tonight, how you can help out as well. But before we get into that with Coach Baranth, let's send it over to my friend Bob Heller, who's got the latest from the athletic department.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it. I want to first of all thank everybody for taking the time to be with us this evening. It's great to see everyone, and looking forward to Hannah's remarks with Al's assistance. You know, I don't know if you know anything about Al, but he is our play-by-play as well as a sports commentary on WKYC Sports, the Channel 3 NBC network here in the Cleveland area. So, Al, thank you for being with us tonight and taking the lead here. First of all, I just want to say thanks to everybody. There's a lot going on with our swimming program that you're going to hear about tonight, the construction, renovations, some safety features that have been added to our program. And we're excited to you know, update you as to what's going on. All of our kids are back. And when I say all of our kids, I mean all of our 300 plus student athletes are back in each of our sports. They're going to classes. There are some classes on campus, and there are some classes obviously online. We've set up a number of safety precautions and a re-socialization plan, as we refer to it, that allow the kids to go through 3 phases before they eventually reach full practices. Hannah and her staff have been doing a tremendous job, you know, getting the kids to some off-campus training facilities while the pool has been renovated. And that's moving forward very quickly. So they're already putting water in the small pool. And when they get done with the construction in the big pool, they'll be filling that up and we'll be back to normal. So lots going on. We're excited about, you know, about the sports, you know, ramping up. So I won't take up any more of your time other than to say thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for what you do to our program. Without your help and support, we wouldn't be where we're at. So with that being said, I want to pass it on to Al and Hannah. And again, thanks very much for taking the time. Al, you got to unmute it. Al.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. Thanks again, Bob. Appreciate that. And if you need any direction with how you can help out the swimming and diving team or CSU athletics in general, you can contact Bob in the CSU athletic department. Coach Hannah Baranth, thanks for joining us here tonight and taking some time to explain everything that's going on with the swimming and diving teams, and of course what's happening with the pool and everything that's going to be going on this winter with swimming and diving at Cleveland State.
So excited to be here. I'm so sorry that I've lost my voice. I don't even know how that has happened, but have my tea and honey, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay tonight. So thanks for your patience.
Very good. Well, it's always good to see you, Hannah. It's good to see everybody else out there too. So let's get started with taking a look at how things have gone for you. 15 plus months on the job now. Your first season under your belt, getting ready for your next one. You've had to deal with the COVID situation. So happening in your first 15 months. But in general, Hannah, how are things happening?
It was amazing. Our first year was truly absolutely amazing. To look at the success that we had, if we're just going to talk X's and O's and talk about our men getting a much more solid second at the conference meet, our women going from fourth to second, breaking records left and right, getting times and scores into our top 10 program list from our history was amazing. And it's a testament to the young men and women that were in the program that we inherited as coaches. It was always inside of them, and it took a little bit of a new direction, a new spark, and some new focuses. Our focus last year was winning our team culture. So when we walked into our conference meet, we already felt like winners, and we were. And, I want to really make a major shout out to, of course, Wally Morton, who is like the grandfather of our program and one of the best, assets that any young coach could ever have, to have somebody that has been with this program and it's in their heart and soul, to have Wally in my corner helping me as leading this program through the last 15 months, having Rich Carbon, a Hall of Fame diver, as our diving coach that has been a part of this family since he dove, here, and having Peter Ritz, being able to bring him home to Cleveland. He graduated back in 2012, the season right before we won the Horizon League in 2013 on the men's side, and to bring in Ben Coley, our I guess you could say our greenest, youngest assistant, but what he brings into this program, I will tell you, Al, you cannot teach coaches what he can do. And so you bring together us as a dream team. What we were able to do, we're a family. And again, it's a testament to what Wally and Bob Busby and what all the greats and all of our legacy has done before, and being able to have a great first season and being able to have our alumni and friends and family support us through this pandemic. So the best word, it's amazing.
Yeah, it certainly has. And you have a wonderful coaching staff there. And as you said, Wally, he's in the legendary coaches discussion when you talk about Cleveland. I mean, there's Terry Francona, there's Paul Brown, and then, of course, there's Wally Morton. Those are the three that always come up whenever we talk legendary coaches. So it's great to have Wally on your staff for sure. Tell me about the Horizon League Swim and Dive meet, the impacts that's had, along with the involvement of NIC and Busby.
So our Horizon League meet, I'll tell you, Al, in the world of swimming and diving right now, it's a scary time in swimming and diving, just with programs getting cut left and right and opportunities getting taken away. Our conference, I will tell you, is doing things right. We're really excited. We do have a conference championship meet coming up again this year, but the Horizon League is a place where people thrive. And our championship meet was so much fun. The caliber, the depth has, from top to bottom, has gotten so much stronger, with Youngstown adding in a men's program recently. Our conference meet, it was, if you go on Twitter and you see some of the throwback, the vault videos, and you see how crazy we got on that 200 free relay when we won the conference meet and broke our school record and had 3 guys sub 20. And you watch Peter, getting hype, and Ben having to hold him, and we're all afraid that they're going to go falling into the pool. But our Horizon League meet, that is the thing that we all strive for, and we're having fun at it. And having the NIC meet, which in terms of, you got your basketball shirt on today, that's very similar to the NIT bracket for basketball. And land sports people tend to understand, basketball and brackets a little bit better than they understand our world. But being able to host the NIC meet 2 years in a row, that's when you have some of the best in this country looking at, oh my gosh, like Cleveland isn't just the mistake on the lake. It's an amazing city, and the College Swim Coaches Athletic Association, being able to see how amazing our venue is, how amazing all of our meet personnel are, from Bob Burwell and Chuck Kunzman and all of our officials, that most of them are actually alumni as well of our program. And we only got to host that meet for not even like a day and everything shut down. So technically we have the only national champion in the country right now, because Tom Paletta won both the 50 free and the 50 fly at that meet. And so the NIC meet was the last collegiate event to happen last year. And so we say he was the National Swimmer of the Year.
Right, and I agree. So, you know, that's the only champion. So he is. I agree 100%. And
Yeah.
he's, you know, he was great for the program. I mean, you've got so many swimmers already here, which is fantastic. But you've got some new ones too, swimmers and divers coming in. Tell me about some of them, Hannah, because you've got Americans, you've got international people, you've got a nice mix.
Yeah, we have 22 newcomers into our program this year, from local swimmers and divers that have been competing in our pool, with Maggie and Michael already having been diving with Rich. So that learning curve in diving is already there. And so I'm really excited to see what they can continue to do across their collegiate careers. Lily, who comes to us from Brunswick, her strength and conditioning coach, Travis, he is an alumni of our program, and he just had a baby this year. So we're keeping it in the family. And bringing in our first swimmer from Estonia. So we got to go get a flag and hang up a new flag in our pool. So we've got an amazing mix of young men and women, both freshmen as well as transferred into us from the University of Tennessee. We had Griffin Manning transfer in from the University of Louisville. So 2 big Power 5 swimmers coming into our program, and having somebody come across from a competitor from Wisconsin Green Bay, Daniel Frederick, who scored top 8 in all 3 of his events at the conference meet, adding even more depth to our distance side, and Emily Dietz transferring in from Idaho. So, you know, the kids that we have brought into our program, and also Colin Martin transferring in from the University of Findlay as well. He was our newest addition at the end of the summer, and he was crushing it today. Definitely crushed it in practice today. But 22 people that they have amazing hearts, great heads on their shoulders. But I'll tell you that Horizon League should be shaken in their boots a little bit by these 22 young men and women, and also the commitments I can't talk about that will be joining us next year. So.
Right on. Yeah, we don't want to violate any rules here. That's for sure.
Nope.
But in general, the history of international swimmers with CSU and how that has had a positive impact on the program. How's that?
It's amazing when you sit in our pool and you see the history around you, and when you look at a flag and you realize that that's because somebody chose to come across the world and identify that this is the place that they can grow as a young man or woman, that they can grow as a swimmer or a diver, and that they can get an amazing education. I mean, some of our alumni have gone and traveled all around the world and are still here. You know, Julian Dooley, who came to us from Ireland, studied here, swam here, got his PhD in Australia. Well, that's where he lives, in the Cleveland area. So realizing what this city can be and what it can mean. And I think there's a level of maturity that an international student athlete brings. When you think about, you'll have some kids that say, I can't go farther than an hour from home or 3 hours from home. And you see people stepping foot on a plane and traveling to a part of the world that they've never been. Having Nikita, who's from Estonia, in my car, and he's like, well, that truck's really big, and that building's really big, and this highway is really big, and they're seeing America for the first time, right? Their dreams are coming true. But they also, the thing that I love about Cleveland State is our blue collar, right? Like, there is just this work ethic and this gratitude that nothing is given, everything is earned. And that's something that I love, is especially when you start to hear stories from some of our kids' home countries, right? And Dominic Nijawik talking about how even with COVID, that they had cops going door to door, and that you would get charged about $5,000 if you broke your quarantine. So hearing those stories of just even how different countries have handled things, or Bob Fick, he's a freshman for us from South Africa. It took us a while to get him here, but that poor boy and his family drove hours to get to the embassy, and his visa appointments kept getting shut down, but he got here, So they bring a flavor, they bring perspective, they bring and there's so much fun too. We can pick on one another and poke fun at one another and get called silly Americans for certain things, and make fun of some of our kids that you have a very European flip turn, and it's really bad. but every European kid has that same flip term. We're gonna fix this,
Right.
So it brings a lot to our program, and they give us just as much as I think we as a community can give them.
Yeah, and then mixing in too with the local kids, and we've talked about this, good swimmers from Northeast Ohio and really across the state as it's gotten better and better at the high school level, able to keep a lot of those Ohioans and Northeast Ohioans home here at Cleveland State. That's important to your program, isn't it?
That's very, when I got hired, and well, the night I sat down and met Scott for my interview, I set the meet results from the previous Horizon League, and I said, Scott, I know how to win this conference meet. I got more questions than answers, but I know how to win this conference meet, and I can do it. So my first goal when I met Scott, I said, look, we're going to win this conference meet with both the men and the women. We're going to become nationally relevant and ranked. There's no reason why our program cannot be a nationally renowned program because of our friends and family, alumni, and donors here today, because of the facilities that we have, the legacy that we have. We're going to talk a little bit more in a bit about our Busby enhancement project and actually talk about our facility. There's no reason why our program, especially when you see Ivy Leagues getting cut, Power 5 programs getting cut, we can do something special here, Al. But my other goal was we're going to continue our academic success, because we all know here that it's easy to maintain something than it is to do something, right? And if those grades slip, man, that's going to move right up to top goal number 1, but they're doing really well right now. And that last goal of mine is to become a priority and a destination, priority for in-state kids and a destination across the country and globally, but not only for our current student athletes, but as we have heard about the amazing coaches with Wally Morton and Michael Lado and Lori Wagner and all of the amazing coaches that we have had, that, if Ben and Peter grow up and move on to take over their program at some time, if I can make them stay with me forever, I would. I will. If I could write that in their contract, I would.
Right.
They're that amazing. But also for coaches, to be able to attract up and coming young coaches. Because when you have somebody like Wally Morton, who sits on the board at the College Swim Coaches Association and is teaching the Coaching Academy on how to fundraise and build alumni relations and what he has done, we got to keep that family line of coaches coming to Cleveland State. So yeah, those are my goals and how they all align.
I like it a lot. And with that too, I mean, I think you've really touched on how if you're a Cleveland State athlete in general, regardless of the sport, you're more than just an athlete. It's important to be a good student. And of course, it's important to be a part of the Cleveland community, to have outreach. And you've got that with your swim and dive team. You've got the Big Vike, Little Vike program. Tell me a little bit more about that, about being involved in the community with your swimmers and divers and where you see that program going.
Yeah, so the Big Vike, Little Vike program is actually a program that we have inside our program to help take care of us, especially through what we identified in this pandemic, is that life is really tough right now. And it provided a way for our upperclassmen to mentor and bring in our newcomers. But we do envision that as a mentorship program within our alumni as well. So, somebody like Bob Lieben that has been an engineer and has worked with the Navy. We've got people in our program that want to do that mentorship to help get them up and out. But in terms of, especially with community service, we've had over a decade of work with the Kids Kicking Cancer. And Busby actually really kind of started that with his commitment to our local community. Wally has done that as well. And so we lost a lot of those opportunities through the pandemic. And especially when we look around the country and see a lot of unrest and a lot of hurt in our community. Our athletic department, we have started with CSU 2.0. We have the DEI, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. And in swimming, if you look around, the swimming community at large, it's a primarily white sport, right? We have a lot of Eastern European, we have a lot of diversity from that standpoint. But when I lived down in Houston and I've seen, swim programs that are free, like HCAP in Houston, that has over 300 athletes that are all athletes of color. It's amazing. It is the coolest thing to see this program and to be able to give back to our local community with swim lessons. And I know we've got coaches in our athletic department that have never learned how to swim. you know, and those kinds of things, because swimming can truly save lives, and being able to give back into, whether it's the inner city in Cleveland or kids that just don't have access to swimming pools. I mean, you need to know how to swim. It's a life-saving skill. And so trying to honor some of those programs that have already been ongoing, like Kids Kicking Cancer, but also some other ways that we can integrate our community and give back to our community and elevate the opportunity in our community. And we have a lot of kids on our team that are very driven when it comes to community service. And I tell them all the time, like, if you've got an idea, you've got a dream, let's figure out how to do it. You know, and so I urge and I ask for anybody listening on tonight that if you have something that you are convicted in, that you believe in, please let us know and how we can connect that up. I mean, that's everything. Like Joe Stockwell has done a lot with homeless and with the homeless community in California. And that's something that, you know, I absolutely believe in supporting. And so, you know, if we have some alumni that have different types of organizations or nonprofits that they're doing in their communities, how could we get a satellite popped up here, or, you know, different things like that. So, you know, I guess that does bring me back to your Little Bike, Big Bike program, where it's like, hey, if we can, you know, bring to life the big Viking things that people are doing in their community at large and do it at a smaller scale here at Cleveland State, I think that would be amazing as well.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a wonderful program, and you've hit on, you know, some of the importance of what Cleveland State means to the community and the swimming and diving and taking a part in that. So projects that support the program, you know, the graphics, the locker room, you know, the Busby Manatorium, the alumni that are a part of this year in and year out, the roles that those things have in allowing to be a success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the finish of the actual question. I just heard that, yes, they are essential for our success. I didn't catch the actual question, Al. I'm sorry.
No problem. I wanted you to speak to that and how these things impact the program and how contribute to the swimmers and divers and you guys and the coaching staff, and really make you well-rounded members of the Cleveland community and allow the program to be such a success on so many levels.
Yeah, I mean, our pool was built in 1972. Okay, so in 2022, our pool will be a half a century year old. Okay, and you know, to give you a little bit of a history lesson with Bob Busby, and I really had to look this up because I didn't want anybody to get upset at me and not having my facts right. So I have to look at my notes. But in 1972, our pool was built. Okay. And in 1977, we hosted the NCAA meet in our pool and broke 16 NCAA records. Our pool was the first pool that a sub 20-second 50 was ever swimming, ever, in our pool. I got 3 guys that just did that last year on relay. Okay. Our pool was the very first sub 15 mile. Okay, from a man. Okay, so Bob Busby roomed with Peter Van Dyke at the AAU National Championship back in 1946. That friendship was forged, and Peter Van Dyke was the architect for our pool and helped Bob Busby. And our pool was actually designed by swimmers. There's no windows that have external walls, so no swimmer has to deal with glare in their goggles when they're swimming. If no matter what lane you're in, if we're swimming short course or long course with the beams at the ceiling, you're swimming backstroke, you can swim straight and you're not going ping pong. Okay. It's deep. All of our competition lanes are all over deep water, which if we want to talk a little bit about physics and water waves, those waves go down, they don't come back up. Same with our washover gutters. When you do a flip turn, you push off, there's clear water. That water doesn't bounce back at you because it goes into the gutter. So our pool, it was state of the art, and it still is state of the art. So some of those campaigns, such as the Heritage Project and being able to have pictures and the timeline, because look, like, I'm not a history buff. We got a lot of people in the world that are not history buffs, but you have to know your history, right? And to be able to walk and look at the timeline to see what we've done and where we've been as a program, and then also to see the open spots for the future of what we could do. So the projects such as the Heritage Project, being able to see Bob Busby's face every day, to be able to see Wally's face every day, our family is around us. And with opening our locker room in the fall, you know, the locker room, I mean, there's lots of books that talk about culture being one in the locker room, right? That's our kids' home, right? That's where they get ready for practice. That's where they finish practice. That's where they might have a cry or a breakdown before a practice. So that's when the guys go in and pound their chests for a big meet. And there's this pride of our program, but that locker room project gave a pride in our facility even more so. And with what we're doing right now with our construction, you know, painting the bottom of the pool is as essential as the concrete work that we are doing on our diving towers. It's not like, you know, getting rid of my wall and painting my wall color. It's not just pretty to look at, but the painting of our pool is so essential. Okay. And when you think about how old our pool is, it's amazing. And so some of the things that are being done right now are hopefully going to ensure that we can have another half a century and celebrate a century of this pool in this facility. So it really is the mecca of swimming pools. And, you know, we've had some of the aesthetics that have brought it up into the new, you know, 2020. So it looks pretty, but some of the stuff that we're doing now is so essential to be able to keep us up and going. And we couldn't run it without our alumni. And if you look around that pool and you can see that lanes are named after some of those donors, we couldn't do it without our friends, family, and donors.
Yeah, it's been so important, Hannah. As we know, the pool's undergoing the renovations. How's your team been approaching practices here without an on-campus location and then needing to stay within the protocols in place because of COVID?
Well, we say September was the COVID stick and October is now the carrot because we are having a conference championship. Okay, we're having it. We know what we're doing is worth it. But man, we all feel a little beat by this COVID stick, don't we? Right? Like all the things that we have to do. The kids had to learn how to do their health assessment every day, call the health center if they failed their health assessment, social distance, wearing masks, you know, all these different things that our kids had to do, learning how to do online school, remote learning, hybrid learning. It's been a lot. So initially it was like, let's just get adjusted. Okay, we just got to get adjusted, figure out how to do this thing. Some of it was also how do we safely transport our team to an off-site facility when some of our kids don't have cars, right? And, you know, I know some coaches across the country that say, you know what, COVID's going to go through my swim program, so we'll all swim at once. Well, their whole team has been shut down for 2 weeks, right? Or their freshmen will have COVID or half their team has COVID. Yeah, we've had maybe 3 cases of COVID. But when you think about a program as large as ours and the fact that the roommates didn't get it and that it didn't spread, that we were able to pause and reset with different people and only have a couple people quarantined at a given time instead of our entire program. It's been tough, Al. Mm-hmm. But, and I know we've got some family and friends and parents on our call right now, and I know they've gotten the anxious calls and the stressed out calls. I mean, this is hard, right? Everything is so intensified. So a lot of it is just figuring it out. So I drive a van of the same girls. I only coach Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, and on Saturday and Sunday. Ben coaches Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, and Saturday and Sunday. I think he has one of those days off. And then Peter goes Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So we are in our own pod. So it's hard not to be able to coach the entire team, but it's kept us all safe. And it's been the right thing to do. But because of that, with the training that we've done, Al, I will tell you, it's been amazing to be able to have a small group setting of maybe 8 to 16 people. You know, today Ben had this really cool swim gym workout where it was like if you were, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what he called this, but they would have to jump out and jump over the bulkhead and get in and out while their partner was sprinting. And I'm watching them and I'm giggling because I did go and watch a little bit of practice today just because I wanted to see them, you know, yeah. And they're huffing and puffing and they're sprinting, they're getting after it. And you're seeing the competition come out. And one of the guys was mad at the other guy because they lost, you know, they're having fun. And so the guys they're getting after it in different ways. But our women have been getting after it in amazing ways where somebody like Irina, who comes from Poland, who when she does a flip turn is barely off the wall. And I'm watching her like, Irina, you finally, last year as a junior, she got the 10th fastest 50 freestyle program history as a junior last year. Okay. And I'm watching her and I'm like, honey, like, oh my gosh, I've never seen you look so powerful and strong in your flip turns. You know, so she's only swimming 3 to 4 days a week, but what we're doing is intentional And it's the little things. And since they're only swimming they're only touching water 3 to 4 times a week.
Right.
They're doing Thrive-In with our strength coach 3 to 4 times a week. And that's been tough because he coaches other teams. So if he gets quarantined, then our strength coach gets quarantined. So it's been, everything we do is like just very intentional. But we've talked about how this is an exponential curve, how we're low level right now, 3-4 times a week, great turns, great breakouts, great basics. Okay. And then when we move home next week, for the swim side at least, and we can actually have access to the pool time all day, then we can escalate and go. But the nice thing is we haven't had to stop our entire team ever. Okay, yes, we've had some kids pause and restart, but I have the confidence in our coach's ability to differentiate, to meet them where they're at. And we're going to kick butt because of that, because we are not taking the same approach as, what you have done in the past. We're only doing anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 in a practice, which in the swimming world is that much. 3-4 days a week, where they're used to swimming 9 times a week. So we've taken a very different approach, but it's going to be worth it. I know it.
Certainly. And besides practices, Hannah, with this, tough time during COVID, I know that building a team culture is so important. What are some ways besides practice that you're building team culture during these times where there's got to be a lot of separation and to some degree isolation? It's
hard. It really is hard. And I think at times we probably didn't do a good enough job with it because we were all in survival mode, to be honest. Trying to just figure out how are we going to transport and how is this schedule going to work and how are we going to move through the phases that our resocialization committee has given us. But over the summer, we did a lot of Zoom calls and we did a lot of questionnaires and just different team topics. So having Julie and Julie talk about mental health this summer was amazing. We had a team Zoom where we talked about leadership and followership. And we had some amazing leaders on that call from Dave Ginther, who has had an amazing personal career, had an amazing swimming career. Bob Lieben, that is the president and CEO of his own company. That he's a leader in his real world, right? Dina Labrie, who is in our Hall of Fame, that swam in the 90s, that at the time she held 10 program records and she owns her own business. So having people that are real leaders, right? Real leaders have team discussion and engagement about what that really is. So being able to have our alumni as a part of that. And it also gave our current kids like, oh my gosh, these people talk like about the kid that sprinted warm up like it was yesterday, but that was like 30 days for that guy, So it allows them to see where they can be in the future from a career standpoint, but realize that, maybe the fact that Austin Sproul brushed his teeth in the shower every day, that might be a memory that they'll always remember. They won't remember how fast Austin swam, but they'll remember making fun of him every day for brushing his teeth in the shower, right? Or, the day the guys sang Taylor Swift, or, just those memories, right? So building that culture, it's just had to be more intentional, and being able to find the little things, right? So every Monday sharing what's the one little thing that you can do this week that can help you have a good week and be able to engage with each other, giving the kids the dots that they can then connect, right? Giving them the ideas and giving them the opportunity. So Irina, hers was, I'm going to dance every day. Every day I'm going to dance. And Sule, hers was, I'm going to finish my homework so I can actually decompress on the weekend. Jack Krasinski, who is an amazing athlete, but is not flexible at all. He's going to stretch every day. Well, initially he told the guys he was going to stretch 3 days a week, and I kind of ripped on him. I was like, that's not good enough. And so, being able to then help each other stay accountable on those kinds of things, right? So it's had to be a little bit more intentional, a little bit more creative. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And I think now that everybody is past being a deer in headlights on, oh my God, this COVID thing sucks and it's scary and we don't know how to do this. Now we're getting more creative. And, if a group goes to the pumpkin patch and some kids are quarantined, hey, we can do a Zoom where we all carve pumpkins at the same time, but in our own spaces, right? So we're starting to get more creative. But I'd much rather learn how to crawl so then we can walk and run. And unlike the other programs that I know that threw everybody together and got to know all their freshmen, everybody seems happy, but then they're back to crawling because everybody is stopped, So it was tough, but now that we've done it, it's worthwhile. And we all say September's gone, and yes, it's October. So we're all really happy that it's October. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, indeed. So, all right, Hannah, we'll give you a break for a question here as Mike Lato joins us to talk a little bit more about the pool renovations now that we talked about with Hannah. But Mike, the pool renovations, the improvements that were necessary to keep this the wonderful facility that it is and to stay on the cutting edge. Tell us a little bit about what has happened so far concerning the improvements there and the new things that have been put in.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Al, for doing this tonight. Good to see everybody out there this evening. Thank you for joining us. Our current pool project, I think maybe Hannah alluded to it a little bit. It's not one of a flashy nature, but one of much needed repair and upgrading, more of a bare bones project. This was set to start place in late April, early May, but then as you know, when March hit, everything was put on a stop. We finally got this thing going and approved and started up in early August. You can see some of these photos as I'm talking of what's going on currently at the pool. I cannot thank our athletic director, Scott, enough for keeping the funding in place to see this project go through. There's some question marks in what was going to happen with the funding. Scott kept his foot down on it and pushed this through for us. So once again, great shout out to Scott to keep this project moving. You could take a look at this project and break it down into 3 parts. The first one is something that the everyday user is not going to see. It's structural repairs to the outside walls of the pool, down in the sub-basement and the pool windows. Not glamorous stuff by any means, but something that you certainly need to keep that pool operational. The second, Hannah already alluded to it, was painting of both pools. So that had to get done. Been a number of years since that was taken on, and contractor did a great job getting the pools prepped, ready to paint, grouted everything after they did the hosing of the pool down. That's done now. And as we said, happy to say the small pool is filled. I know a couple people have already been in the water, and the team will be back in it on Monday. So the small pool's up and running. The third part is the actual diving platform renovation. It's the big ticket item in this. Both the 1 meter and 3 meter platforms needed replacing, as well as some work on the 10 meter tower. 1 meter platform was demolished, and it's been shifted a little bit closer to the 10 meter tower. Since we had to replace the 1 meter platform, we moved it over closer to the tower to put it in deeper water. That got that outside board that was on the shallow end into deep water. That got it, away from that slope. I know prior to that, we're very close to FINA guidelines as being within specs, but now we're well within the specs of that. So safety issue with that, but got that done. The 3 meter platform is being totally redone as well. Attached to this is, if you want to call it, it'd be like a transfer station. This will allow for a new staircase leading from the pool deck to the 3 meter, and then from here going up to the 5 meter. So that means that steep ladder from the pool deck to the 5 meter is now going to be gone. That's off the deck. The 10 meter received some work as well, not quite to the extent of what the 1 and 3s were, didn't demolish anything. The 5 needed some structural repairs, not a lot. New stairs leading from the 5 to the 7.5 and then up to the 10. All the platforms were receiving new matting on there, as well as new stainless steel railing. The 10 meter platform is going to get a glass guardrail system, and that's going to allow us to put some Viking logos up there on that glass. It'll look really sharp up there on top of the 10 meter platform. Give us that additional logo look in our pool. The entire tower is actually going to get painted with a protective coating, and that could be tinted. We're waiting to see what actual colors it can be tinted to, so no more of that hodgepodge old cement look to that. That will be cleaned up. Along with the project, we got all new fulcrums and anchors for the 1 and 3 meter boards. I think Rich can attest to this. Some of these I think were still the originals from the 1970s. So those are all being replaced. One item that I hate to say is going to be missing is the hot tub. No more after hours get together over there. It's going to be replaced with new shower heads on the wall, basically in the same location where the hot tub was. So we're still going to keep that component in. And they're going to be hot water. It's not going to be cold. So we'll keep those, we'll get those over there. So that's just going to clean up that whole area right there. A few other odds and ends that they're doing on the pool, replacing any tile that's there. One of the other things that we're doing is replacing the backstroke anchors and poles. I think anybody who attended any of our summer meets knows what I'm talking about, what we needed to replace. Some of those old poles were at like a 45-degree angle. So buying new poles wasn't the answer. All the new poles that are out there today have a much larger diameter than those of its 1970s counterparts. So we have the contractor putting in new anchors and getting that all in place. So everything is on track with a big pool to be completed in mid-December. We're hoping to get the pool open a little bit sooner for that, for our team to train down on the shallow end while the actual diving stuff gets wrapped up, and try to get them in the water. Like I said, this project it was a much needed improvement to the facility. Now it's also going to allow us and Rich to go out and put bids in for national diving competitions and try to get that on board with that. So this pretty much wraps up tonight's episode of This Old Pool. Thank you.
Fantastic job, Mike. Very interesting. Love the pictures. Great job explaining all that and what's going on. And as I welcome Hannah back in, so we see these investments. We have an opportunity tonight with the engaged alumni here that want to help us get across the finish line as we, continue to put more banners in Busby Natatorium, but also to grow as people, grow the program, grow Cleveland State and the athletic department in general. So what are some areas that financial support will be able to take us over the finish line and complete these projects and get us to where we really like to be and need to be?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that has always gotten us to where we are now is the people, the guts, the heart, the blue collar hard work. And there's always been a pride in that. And it's not that we always had a pride and, we don't show up with the swaggiest amount of clothes at a swim meet, right? We have a pride in who we are. And I love that the graphics that have been done over the years, the locker rooms have given us a pride in our home, right? In our home. And this project right now, which came from the university, really helped support us. So I cannot thank the university enough for not pulling the plug on that project. And it's, oh my goodness, I just feel so grateful that this project is happening. But for us, if we're just gonna talk, if I'm not gonna care about culture anymore and people, if I'm gonna talk about how we're gonna go and win the Horizon League championship, we've got to bring our program up into this century. And Rich has been with this program for so long, and he has done so much work himself in keeping that hot tub up and running, stringing the diving ropes himself, jerry rigging the camera and the wires and everything. So one of the things that I would love support, especially to help Rich, is some technology from, cameras and flat screens and different types of things that will help actually with the detail of coaching to be able to get, some of our kids that want to get to diving regionals and to NCAAs and those kinds of things. So from like the camera standpoint, all of the flat screens and everything like that, so they can watch their loop. And as well from on the swim side, anything that we've learned in swimming is that it's not just about working hard, it's about working smarter, and being able to get some GoPros and some different pieces of technology for underwater filming, overwater filming, being able to have a flat screen TV as well, to be able to do those things. Because when I told Scott, hey, we don't have a single woman in the 50 free at conference, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. And we did that this year. We did really well. But, if we're going to continue to win relays, it's relay takeovers and being able to get the technology for put the touchpad in and put the thingy on top of the block. And then when they touch and they go, so if it's a legal start or not. Because it really hurts when you get disqualified for an illegal takeover at a relay. So some of those technology pieces are going to bring us up and give us coaches the opportunity to train our kids at an even higher level. Our starting blocks, those starting blocks, we could definitely use new starting blocks, and especially because of the wedges. Even when I swam, we didn't have these wedges that you can put your back foot on, much like a track start. But with our facility being the premier facility that it is and hosting, the Viking Invite, the district meet, the different sectional meets, all the different meets that we host, those blocks have gotten a lot of wear and tear. And the wedges themselves, we had to get a certain kind of wedge to fit our blocks. So if we could get new blocks and get new wedges for that, as well as the backstroke wedges. That's also going to give us the ability to continue to go out and get some bids on some meets that are going to also give back to our community. So blocks is another big one. Talked a lot about just the software and the hardware from the technology of running the meets. And, we're really happy that our scoreboard is still turning on. I know Mike Leda went and said it's actually on, but if it will actually work when we get to a meet, we don't know. So that's another one that we would like. But the other thing is we have gone and recruited in top-notch athletes. I mean, I'll tell you, Al, some of our guys, you wouldn't guess that they're swimmers. You'd guess they're a baseball player or a football player or a basketball player with their height and their muscles. And for us, the one thing that we would like to do is to be able to get power racks. So the best way I can put it is it's like lifting lifting weights while swimming. And that's going to continue to help give us the edge to be able to take down some of those Oakland sprinters. Okay, so some of those things are going to help us from our training standpoint, as well as we love being able to be in the weight room with our strength coach. Our strength coach, works with a lot of our programs here on campus, able to have some dry land equipment of our own, and especially to kind of beef up our diving room for Rich. And, we're going to need new diving pads in that diving room. We're going to need more stuff in that diving room as we continue to elevate the caliber of athletes that we have. But being able to have, we have some great pull-up bars in the pool that we put up. Being able to TRX and our own med ball station, so that way we can do Coach Ben calls it swim gym. Coach Peter calls it, Peter, what do you call it? You call it amphibious work. But the ability to hop out and do some slam balls and work on how that would help a pull out or a catch or something like that, and be able to have actual dry land equipment at our pool would be amazing to continue to up the ante and what we can do from a training standpoint. I think I hit. Oh, and the other big thing that I would love one day, I know that we're bummed about the hot tub, but what would really set us above and beyond would be an endless pool. So an endless pool, you get the mirrors at the bottom of the pool, you get a mirror in front, you have a camera, and you're really able to fix some kids' strokes, because a lot of times it doesn't matter how good the coach is to tell them what they're doing wrong. You can't fix something if you can't feel it. And in swimming, if you're letting that hand pop out like this and you're losing the hold on the water, but they can't feel it, they can't fix it. But now if they actually have the mirror underneath them, they can see it. And you can actually set it so that way if like for Jack Krasinski, the difference between his 100 breaststroke tempo and his 200 breaststroke tempo, you can set the water to be at your goal speed. And then you can have the coach sitting there and say, okay, you're 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Be able to get them used to that tempo, then get them in the pool. And now they're going 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and they're doing it themselves, right? So those are some of the things that would absolutely, as we continue to go and recruit in top caliber athletes, to then be able to train them top caliber would be amazing. But it would also help us, like we said, be able to put those bids in to continue to show the community that we have the best pool in the country, if not the world. So
that's great. And I love that little tip you gave too, because I wonder why I always kind of angled and I lose when I'm swimming, just, my community pool. Now I know my hand is turning.
Focus on your pinkies. So a lot of times you push out, and a lot of people don't remember about the edge of their hand and their pinky.
Very good. That is exceptional advice.
Hey, Al, do you think that Han ought to work with Tito Francona on his swimming?
I think so, because Tito's starting to give it up a little bit, and now he's having more health problems, because swimming is a fantastic form of exercise. I agree 100%. So we're going to see if we can hook Tito and Hannah up here, and they can work together.
Hey, I've tried to tweet at some of our Indians players as well. I remember one of them over the summer, and I was like trying to tweet. I'll be like, I'll teach you how to swim, please.
Right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is fantastic. I've always enjoyed it, and it's always been such a key part to training for all kinds of sports. It's wonderful to, all the events, and one of the best Olympic sports there is. And Hannah, with that in mind, I'm going to invite you to stick around for a while. We're going to have a little informal discussion with everybody that's there. If you'd like to stick around, you can ask Hannah some questions, Wally Morton, Mike Lato, anybody really that's on the call. Talk a little bit more about how you can help the program out, or if you have any questions. And before we send it away, back over to Bob Heller, who can wrap this program up for us. And everybody loved this. A lot of fun. Hannah, Wally, everybody, been great being here tonight. Really interesting to hear all this, and looking forward to your season up here very soon.
Al, this was great. I want to just say thank you. And for anybody that can't stick around, can't hop off, I just can't say, I know COVID has been very hard, and, the universe isn't fair. And sometimes when it gives you one big bad thing, the universe ain't going to give you $1 million or a pony or a unicorn or a brand new car. I mean, I'd like it. If you want to give my program a brand new car, that'd be really cool. But it's the little things, okay? It's the little things that really end up stacking up and adding up to make everything that we need to do in our personal lives and our professional lives and with our program. It is the little things, because we all know a big bad thing, it hurts a lot. But the power of good and bad is very odd. You can have one big amazing thing and then one little bad thing, and it just derails you, right? So I urge you all, please keep finding the good little things in your daily lives. Share that with your friends and family. And any donation that can help our program out, whether it's big or small, I will tell you, we thank you. And I know Giving Day thank you cards from last year are finally getting ready to go out in the mail. So we have not forgotten about you for that have given to Giving Day and helped us in the past. So I just had to give that plug, but thank you all so much. And I'll stop circle talking now.
Very good. Good stuff, Hannah. Bob, take it away.
Hey, this has been a great evening. And there's a lot of people to thank. First of all, Hannah, thanks for being on the call with us this evening and updating us on the state of the program. And Mike Lado, you have done a yeoman's job, overseeing this construction project. It would not happen without someone like yourself, not just the person in the position, but being a swimmer in this position. You have invested an immense amount of time overseeing that this project gets done. And it all starts at the top. And Hannah, you said it. In the pandemic, in the times where other programs have been suffering financially, Scott Garrett has gone to bat numerous times for the swim program to make sure that this project, was not delayed any further. University invested nearly $1 million into this project. And, I said at the beginning of tonight's conversation, we thank you for everything you've done. That locker room project was tremendous. But now is the time for us to move the BuzzMe enhancement campaign forward to the next step. And you're going to be getting some information and hearing more about it in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be referred to as the BuzzBee enhancement campaign. Hannah, you listed a number of enhancements that your program needs in order for us to move forward. But, from the starting blocks, that was a great, comment that you made, the impact that the starting blocks and the wedges have on our program. And so, folks, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for being with us tonight. We want to thank you for your support. But we look forward to talking with you about ways that you can help us move this program forward collectively. So thank you. And thanks goes out also to Brandon Lohmeyer, who's spearheading our Viking Fund. If you don't know about the Viking Fund, it helps out all of our programs, including both men's and women's swimming. And so if you haven't heard more about it, you will be in the next few weeks. So thank you again, and look forward to you guys staying on and having some time to chat.
Hey, Bob, I'd like to just, and Al, I want you to look at Justin Soker over there, this Big Ten diving coach of the year, the Ohio State Buckeye coach, and look at that Viking head behind him. He looks great with that Viking behind him.
I just want to take a minute too to just say thanks to everybody for being on the call. It's awesome to see such awesome support. Over the years as alumni, we all just love our program. We want to see great things happen. We want to continue to give back to the program. I just happen to be in the program again. So I think one thing that I don't want to go without saying, I think it's phenomenal that our university has put in the time and the energy and the money that they have done to do what they're doing to our pool. And diving is so often, maybe forgotten about a little bit when it's only, 5% or 10% of the team, maybe, But at the same time, to have our university put a commitment into our facility, which we know has been a fantastic facility for so many years and is still a fantastic facility, just awesome, awesome, awesome. And Mike Lato, I got to tell everybody right now, he's been tremendous. Talk about getting our back. It's been awesome to have somebody in that position that understands swimming and diving. Mike has been tremendous. I cannot tell you enough how grateful I am for everything that's going on with our pool right now and how Mike Lato and our university's done the things that they're doing right now. I thank everybody for being involved. It's awesome. Love this university.
All right. Well, yeah, great. Couldn't have said anything better myself. Tremendous. Again, stick around for an informal virtual happy hour with everybody so you can continue this discussion if you like, touch base with some old friends. That'll continue on right here. So again, thanks for being here tonight for the presentation part of it. And now stick around for the informal coming up.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al,
So much, Al.
for the kind words.